Just going to Aldi to get a few goodies. Okay, so time to get my groceries home. So Aldi have a violin for $99.99. That's kind of ridiculous. Here it is. It's supposed to be solid timber, solid wood violin, top solid spruce, back solid maple, side solid maple, neck solid maple, fingerboard, hardwood, pegs, hardwood, wood nut, hardwood, tailpiece, metal, bridge, solid maple, includes chin and shoulder rest, convenient storage bag. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, let's open this up. Now, is it going to pass the VSO test? Let's have a look. Here. Okay, what do we have? We have a violin-shaped object. It has a very shiny varnish. The smell that hits me is really artificial. Whoa, look at that. So it actually does it have inlaid purfling? Let's have a look. Yep, so the purfling's not just painted on, it's actually inlaid. Oh, look, they put it away so quickly that the varnish kind of wore off a little bit in that corner, but not to worry. So hardwood pegs, but they're painted black. Fingerboard, painted black. Oh, that's poorly made, people. Alrighty. Then there's the bow, of course. Oh, look, and we've got a user manual. We have rosin, shoulder rest, okay. Instruction, bridge placement. Okay, well, let's imagine we're a newcomer. Congratulations on your purchase of the wooden violin. Unpacking the violin, you might find the bridge in paper packing. This is to avoid any damage during transport. Attaching a line between the two F-holes. Yes, F-holes. Let's see, let's unpack bridge from paper. Ooh, lovely. Okay, so putting bridge on, arch side must face fingerboard. Yep, got that. The string grooves are so faint that it's actually kind of hard to put up. Oh, beautiful. I'm just going to use a different bow. Yes, so where do I start? Where do I begin? Let's begin with some measurements, shall we? So, first of all, I mean, the fingerboard is hollow, so that's something. It's not bowed upwards, but it's very hollow. Okay, so that's partially good, but it's too dipped. Now the strings down here, the G is about 1 millimeter high off the thing, and so is the E at the nut. So, and the string spacing is 15 and a half, should be 16, so very close. But the string height at the nut is huge. I mean, it can be lowered. It is more than twice as high than it should be, and on the E it is 4 times the height. Let's just have a look here. String height down the bottom here is 7 millimeters. That's 1.5 millimeters too high, and 5.5. That's 2 millimeters too high. The bridge is a very rudimentary bridge. It's not going to do the sound any favors. Tailpiece is metal, and the fine tuners don't turn very well. Top plate is made of fairly wide grained spruce, and the back and sides and scroll are made of maple, but extremely low quality maple. And have a look at this scroll. Like, this scroll is just really quickly carved. Sound post is too thin and totally in the wrong spot. The chin rest is some kind of hardwood, but not all that good. There's also just some marks on the varnish here. So they obviously packaged up the instrument before the varnish was dry. Also, I think it sounds shocking. Finally, the bridge, the curvature on the bridge is way too flat. It should be more round. So when I was playing, you would actually hear me play more than, more than one note at a time. My judgment is that this is in fact a horrible instrument. The thing here is that a lot of the measurements are wrong. So, if you just simply look at things like the fingerboard projection, which is where the fingerboard angle ends up, which is here. It's 25 millimeters. It should be around 27 or 28. That'll give it a much better bridge height. So the strings themselves are way off the fingerboard. So 7 millimeters on the G and 5 millimeters on the E, which is way too high and makes it really hard to play. So also the mancha is incorrect. So the mancha is the proportion from the nut to the edge of the violin, and from the edge of the violin to the bridge. That should be 2 to 3, and here it's not exactly that. It's actually slightly out. Yeah, it's out by about 4 millimeters, and so when people play that and they switch instruments, it'll actually make it a real problem. So there are a lot of things wrong with this instrument, like a lot of the measurements are wrong as well. This is one of my Vivace beginner instruments, so it has a very different sound. And of course the difference with a good quality beginner instrument is that the setup, like everything's right about the setup. So that, the G would be 5.5 mils off the top plate, the E would be 3.5 mils, the G would be 0.4 of a millimeter off the nut, the string height at the nut, and it would be 0.25 millimeters on the E string. And also the fingerboard is very slightly hollow. It's an ebony fingerboard, ebony parts, and a good quality Despio bridge and good quality strings like Tonica strings. So just the setup on its own would be well over $300, $350. That is just my work in getting the instrument right. So here, I'll play it for you one more time, just so you can hear a different. So it's a very different sound, like it's a very, firstly kind of a flat sound with no brilliance, but then you have a slight tinniness of the string as well. But also, I found it really hard to play. I actually had to press down really hard. Those things can be managed, but the sound can't really be improved. Also, if we go through it, firstly, the bridge curvature is totally wrong. This is the correct curvature. So you can see it's actually way too flat, the bridge curvature. And the bridge quality is terrible anyway. The timbre quality on the bridge is quite terrible. But also the timbre quality on the fingerboard, it might be hardwood, but it's actually painted hardwood. So it's painted black. So are the pegs, they're a hardwood, but they're also painted black, and they don't fit. You can see they're about that far out, so they'd have to be fitted properly. The sound post is atrocious. It is a little bit hard to see, but you can see it in there. But it's way too far in, and it looks like it's quite a lot too firm. So these are things that can be changed, but it's all in all, it's still $100 violin, and none of the important things are really right. So a player who buys this violin, who gets excited, yes, I can buy a violin for $100, it's going to end up being terrible. Like, it'll be a terrible experience for them, and then it has that horrible sound, so it's quite scary. So anyway, this is the $100 Aldi violin. Don't buy it. It's a waste of money. And this is the bow of course, so it's a really cheap bow. Oh my god, look at the tip. That is horrendous. Oh my god. Yes, no, that would be horrible to play. Hang on, I've got to rosin this up and try it. It's really hard to kind of get a decent bounce, but also it has no spring. Look how kind of flat it is. So it's it's really bad. So there you go. That's the Aldi violin. It's $99.99 in Australia, so that's about $70 US. Don't buy it. It's shocking. The only reason you could buy it for is to make a video on how bad it is. That's what I did. It was worth the $100, or was it really? Well, I don't know. It's pretty shocking. These kinds of instruments, they shouldn't be made, and it gives people false hope, and that's the problem. Like people want to sound beautiful, and they end up with these instruments thinking they can sound good or make them sound good, and it's pretty hard. You know, like, okay, if you someone like Ray Chen or Maxim Vangeroff or Hilary Hahn or something like that, you'll probably be able to make a decent enough sound on that instrument. But it's still like, it would still be holding them back, like they wouldn't be able to play to their full potential. And as a learner, it would make your life so difficult. Like, I'm so careful to get everything just right so that playing isn't so difficult. It's already so hard. Like, it's already hard enough just to learn to play the instrument. You don't need an instrument that makes your life even harder. Then of course there's the option of something like the Pierre Lamont Master Violin, which a lot of clients of mine love. A lot of adult beginners actually really enjoy playing on this violin. That's if you want to spend a little bit more. Anyway, I've reviewed the Aldi violin. It's shocking. Don't buy it. Do subscribe. Click like and subscribe to my channel if you like this video, and hit the little bell so you find out every time I post a new video. Thanks so much for watching. Keep making beautiful music, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!